All right, today we're going to dig into a really fascinating, and I mean incredibly bold prediction about the future of silver. There's this guide out there making a huge claim about where the price is headed, and we're going to break down exactly how they think they can justify it. The entire prediction we're about to unpack really hinges on this one central question. Is silver, one of the oldest forms of money on the planet, secretly and just massively undervalued in today's economy? That's the core idea we really need to get our heads around. So before we get to the really big numbers, we first have to understand what makes silver so, well, unique. To really grasp any argument about its future, you've got to know that this metal is basically living a double life. And this right here shows you the inherent conflict. See, on one hand, silver is that classic monetary haven, a safe place to put your wealth, kind of like its famous cousin gold. But on the other hand, it's an absolutely essential industrial workhorse. I mean, it's in your phone, it's in solar panels, it's in electric cars. And here's the real kicker that separates it from gold. Most of that industrial silver is never recovered. It's used up and it's gone. For good. And wow, this chart right here just perfectly illustrates which of those two identities is winning out. I mean, just look at that. A full 55% of all silver demand comes from industry. The investment side, that whole monetary haven thing, that's just 18%. This shift is absolutely critical to the argument we're about to see. The industrial side is now driving the bus. Okay, so with that crucial context in mind, the fact that industry is now the main driver for silver demand, let's get to the heart of it. What is the core claim of the guide we're looking at? What exactly is this huge prediction they're making? Now, the guide we're deconstructing isn't just hinting at a small price bump or, some minor market correction. No, they are forecasting a seismic shift, a fundamental change in how silver is valued. And they put a specific, almost unbelievable number on it. There it is, $1,000 per ounce. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a number that sounds absolutely wild compared to today's prices, and it is the centerpiece of their entire argument. So a number that big, well, it demands a pretty powerful argument, right? So how in the world do they justify it? Let's break down the logic they use to get from where we are today all the way to that. They basically build their case on this three-step foundation. First, there's an economic driver. They argue that as currencies get weaker, people are going to rush back to physical assets like silver. Second, that industrial demand we talked about is absolutely surging. The green energy transition alone is creating this explosion in demand that's inelastic. That means manufacturers need silver no matter what it costs. And finally, a supply crunch. They claim that mining operations just can't keep up with this demand, coming from two different directions. Now, to support this three-step idea, the guide really zeroes in on one very specific historical metric. They use this number to argue that right now silver is, historically speaking, just incredibly cheap. And this is it, the gold to silver ratio. For a long, long time, it took about 15 ounces of silver to buy 1 single ounce of gold. Today, it takes around 80. So the guide's implication here is crystal clear. They see this huge gap as totally unnatural and unsustainable. They argue that for the ratio to simply go back to its historical average, the price of silver would have to skyrocket, way, way more than gold. Okay, so we've seen the prediction and we've seen the justification. But that leads us to what is maybe the most important question of all. Who is making this claim and what's their motivation? Well, the information we've been breaking down comes from something called the Silverzz Guide. It's an online video and it's published by a channel that, and this is important to note, also runs a commercial website that's related to this topic. And, the source itself makes this connection totally explicit. This quote, which we've taken directly from their material, points viewers who are interested in this price prediction straight to their commercial shop. That, of course, provides a really key piece of context when you're evaluating the information they're presenting. And all of this really brings us to the final, crucial question that this whole analysis leaves us with. When you're looking at any financial prediction, especially one that's tied so closely to a commercial interest, where do you draw the line between information and influence? That's probably the most important question to ask yourself anytime you see this kind of analysis.